Well, there's a lot of energy in that gym today, and it was a pleasure to be a part of. I was really pleased with, with the crowd. It was unbelievable. It's a huge effort by our entire staff here in the department to make a day like this happen. I'm grateful for all the school districts and schools that chose to be a part of it and just create an incredible environment for everyone involved. And I thought our team did a great job capitalizing on that momentum. They brought a lot themselves, and I thought we played really hard today. I liked the start. I liked the way we moved the basketball today. I thought we just gave a great effort on both ends of the floor with, certainly nothing's ever perfect, but I thought our effort was a big step forward for us and kind of demonstrated what this team's been working on in practice. And so really pleased today and grateful to be a part of such an awesome event.
Scott, can you just talk about Janessa's just all-around hustle and stuff? I think she had 7 steals in the first half and finished with 8, and she's just diving on the floor. I know a lot of your players do that, but it just seems she kind of brings that extra energy when she's out there.
Yeah, Jay's always looking to mix it up, always. And, I told her that. I said, you got our 4-game average in one half by yourself. It was a joke. But I was so proud of her, and if you look at the box score, she's the only player that didn't score. And, basketball is an interesting game. You don't have to score a point to have a major impact on a game. And I thought she set the tone for us in many ways once she got on the floor and just took everything up a notch, and knocked the ball free, got us in transition, and then we went on that big run in the first end. So those are things that we've been watching for a long time, and she has learned to pick her spots. She's learned to play, just within the game. She would much rather, run into somebody than around. That's just how she's made, and I think it's growing up with 3 older brothers that all play football, but she's learned the game of basketball, and she's a winner. And, I saw that when we recruited her. The first time I watched her, actually, she made a hustle play, and it's like, oh my goodness, there's not many people that are that aggressive after the ball, and you've got to have that. And so I'm just proud of her because we've watched that for 2 full years, and she's been in the shadows of so many great posts here, and now she's worked hard and created that opportunity for herself, not only to get on the floor, but to be as successful as she is. And so really proud of Jay.
Could you guys just talk about how your defense led to offense? It seemed like you guys were really trying to push the pace off their turnovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to score 2 and 1 when they're set at 5 and 5, and a lot of Janessa's steals or tips defensively led straight to our break. So we just try to make the most of those opportunities and capitalize on them when we were pushing it in transition.
I think for our team, we get a lot of energy from defensive stops, and we're known for our defense. And so when we can be firing on all cylinders, our offense is so much better when we can have amazing defense too. And so I think that's what sparks our offense is great defense. And so that's why we were working so well today.
For all 3 of you, Scott, you mentioned earlier on in the season that you're a guard-centric team this year, more so than the last few years. Destiny, you're on the floor this year as opposed to last year. So how is that chemistry coming along just a few games into the season? Do you feel like you're clicking like it's a few games into the season, or do you feel like that you've developed maybe faster than expected?
Me or?
Whoever feels like answering. For all 3 of you.
I feel like our chemistry is really, really good. I think right now we're just learning the small things about each other on the court. Our chemistry off the court is amazing. I mean, you could call us sisters, literally. But on the court, I think it's just learning small things of what people like to do, where they like their passes, like how do I put them in the best position to score, or how do I talk to them differently than someone else. So just understanding that small differences and unique things about people is kind of where we are.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, just learning the small nuances in people's games and trying to see how you can put them in positions to be successful in each different way.
Yeah, I think I'm finally starting to make sense to Destiny. I think, honestly, she's like, what do you mean by this? And so, it's just different. When she's out there now, it's just different than a year ago. It's just different. And so that's a work in progress, I think, for every team. But for us, we've got some new pieces in new places and using people in different ways. And so it's a new year, and so there is a growth process that we're experiencing right now, and every day we're taking major steps forward, and so I'm pleased with what I've seen. I think we're on pace.
Scott, your teams always have really good ball movement. What I've seen in the first 2 games here in the exhibition, it seems like it's another level up there. Do you feel like this team has that potential to be maybe one of the ones that moves the ball the best and sets players up the best to get open looks?
No, I don't know. I don't know. We've passed the ball well for a long time. I mean, that's kind of who we are. I think, the coaches commented after the game. Danny Evans actually commented to me, your spacing, because your guys' spacing is so good. And that's something offensively we've prided ourselves on, is that all the time. And so, a year ago, Marie's ability to pass the ball was so key. This year, this team is able to attack a little bit better, and so the pass is coming out of the paint and that extra pass. So I think we're on par. I think we can potentially be the best. I don't know. The sky's the limit for this group. It's as much experience on the perimeter as we've ever had, and ability as well. And so I think you're correct in that assessment that we're right there at the top. I think it will get better and better as we go.
For the players, obviously as competitors, you like to play against the best teams possible with the lights and all that, but from an enjoyment and fun aspect, was today about as fun as it gets, just with all the kids there and whatnot? Or?
Yeah, the atmosphere today was amazing. You always enjoy playing in front of a lot of fans, and screaming little kids is even better. So we had a great opportunity to inspire the little kids and try to make this game fun for them, and I think we did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mick, everything she just said. The atmosphere was amazing. It's our job to be role models for all those kids in there, and I think that's what we did.
Do you remember anything any of the kids said to you afterward? I mean, just anything that always stuck with you?
It's funny how kids are so simple. They'll tell you oh my gosh, one girl, she's like, you're really good at making layups. And I was like, thanks. That's not a compliment you usually get from someone. So it's interesting that they see the smallest things. Even one girl, she was like, you tried to help up the other team. And I'm like, yeah. And you would never notice that for someone else. So it's just realizing that everything that you do doesn't go unseen. You know what I mean?
There was one particular first grader who came to me, and she was like, I love this. This is so much fun. I want to play basketball now.
Oh.
So that was a really cool moment.
There you go. Scott, what have you learned out of these first two games? What did you hope to learn?
Yeah. Well, first off, let me say, the last thing I said to them before we took the court today was, remember when you were a fourth grader and what this experience would have been like for you. And there's going to be people watching you, kids watching you today, because I remember when I was a ball boy growing up in Hillsboro, I looked up to the varsity guys at Hillsboro High School and then Glencoe, they were my idol. I watched everything they did, how they put their shoes on, what they did in warm-ups, to what they did when on the bench. I tried to listen to everything they said. And when you're that person, like they are, you never think people are looking at what you're doing, or, you just, what does it matter? I'm just sitting on the bench, But to remember that you're being watched constantly, and today is a really good reminder for us as role models, and that's who I recruit. This group is incredible in that regard, just to be aware of that. And so they did a great job, I thought. As far as what to learn, for me, it's just figuring us out. Everyone is much different in a game environment than they are in a practice environment. There's both, and they are slightly different. And so for me, just to figure out rotations, to figure out what's the best way for us to play as a group. Each year, you're slightly different, even if you have the same people. And so what I've learned is this team's going to compete like crazy. We have a long ways to go still. I learned they're coachable. I learned that they're very competitive. And so I've seen nothing but progress over the last 2 weeks, ever since our very first scrimmage, then exhibition game, then game one, and now game two, this team is going to reach its potential this year. They show all the signs of a great team.
Obviously, you guys have a lot of the season left, but today was a big day, a couple of big signings for you. You can just talk about, the excitement there, who you're kind of getting, what they're going to bring.
Yeah, more great people. And so today is it was an awesome environment. It's one of our favorite days of the year, but so is signing day, and so we blended those two things together today. And so it was neat to be able to announce them on the video board. We got both NLIs this morning, and so Taylor Jones and Kennedy Brown are a part of Beaver Nation now, and their families as well. So we got two incredible individuals from great families. They're both very highly rated. They've been highly recruited nationally. One of the really neat things for us is that we've reached out a little bit. I mean, this is from, you know, the Midwest and the South as far as we've really gone. And so it's just shown the growth of our program and the perception nationally that lets people listen and say, okay, what's going on at Oregon State? You know, we could not have recruited these players, or these individuals probably 4 years ago. You know, so times are changing, and it's awesome. Taylor Jones is more of a true post player, incredible jump hook, long wingspan, and an athlete. Rebounds out of her position, and yeah, blessed with long arms. You know, and I see her developing into more of a 4, you know, that has the ability to play back to the basket. And then Kennedy Brown is extremely versatile. She's 6'5". She's a face-up player. I would say, along the lines of Marie, where she's very comfortable outside and can take you inside already. She shoots the 3, handles it like a guard, and passes, you know, and she's both have the ability just to be incredible defenders. Kennedy's mind defensively it's like innate. She just knows angles and how to play at a level that I don't know if I've seen before, to be honest, in someone. And so couldn't be more excited. You know, not only them, but their families are incredible. And so, yeah, just a great day for all of us.
Mick and Destiny, talk about that. I mean, bring in a couple players. You get to play with them next year. You know, for 1 year, you get a couple more years with them. Just, you know, what was it like on their visits here, and just how much do you think they're going to fit in with what you guys try to do?
Yeah, Steve, we enjoyed having Kennedy and Taylor on their visits. They came at 2 separate times, but we got to have dinner with them, interact with their families, and I think it was a really good fit from the first time they stepped on campus. So we're excited to have them here, and I'm excited to be their teammate next year.
I know everything Mick said. They're amazing people. They're amazing players too. But I think the best thing about them is they fit our culture, and to bring people in that fit our culture is awesome because that means we're just going to keep growing. And so that's what I loved about them.
I don't need the mic. So Jasmine was a little bit more assertive in today's game. Obviously, she played a little bit more minutes. Can you talk about, is that how you see her fitting into this offense?
Yeah, in our whole system. You know, you look at her stats. You know, Mick had an incredible line today, and then you look at Jazz. You know, 7. I'm trying to read this new stat sheet. 7 points. You know, got a rebound, but 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. That's who she is. She's a great athlete, and is a stat sheet filler. And so today it was neat just to see her get comfortable out there and get to play. You know, I think she played about half the game. Yeah, or so. And so we know what she can do, and we've just seen her get more and more comfortable. Jazz had been injured before she got here, so she didn't play much for the last year and a half. And so coming off, you know, not playing, then getting thrown to the wolves with this team and practice every day has been a challenge. Where's my niche? And so many good guards. And, man, everybody shoots the ball like crazy. And am I as that good? You know, she's gone through that kind of self-doubt where you see her thinking too much, and now we're just seeing her kind of just go and relax and just play. And I'm like, I don't care if you make a mistake. It's okay. Just be aggressive and be you, you know. And so I think we saw that today. That runner, that floater was really nice, you know, knocked the 3 down. And so she can hurt you in so many ways. And then she's amazing in the open court. That layup was so nice, you know. And then the block from behind that I remember at the far end. So Jazz is a dynamic player. She's versatile, can play 3 positions, you know. So just happy for her just to see her settle in, because she's somebody that can impact our year this year.
Can you talk about those rotations and trying to figure out what works best? How long do you think a process like that could take this season at least?
Well, I think it's what the preseason's for. I think that's what we're doing. You know, I think our first game was good. I mean, we knew Cal Poly was going to have a great plan. Faith is an awesome coach. And then we played Pine Bluff. Probably figure we're going to get more minutes out of people today, and that's part of the progression to allow Trish and Jazz and even Joe to play a little bit more in those spots. You know, and then now we got St. Mary's coming in here on Saturday, and St. Mary's is a big-time team. I mean, they're outstanding, extremely well coached. It will have the feel of a Pac-12 game Saturday. That's going to be great for us. And so how do we handle each of those situations and how we evolve through those is just it's a process, and that's the fun of coaching. It's the fun of this game is, you know, where to put our pieces when. And so I don't think there's a time where it's like, okay, we got it. You know, I think it's going to just evolve as we go. It could evolve into January. And, you know, a year ago, we made changes going into the NCAA tournament, you know, and so a team is constantly evolving. I don't think you ever really stop that, and so that's part of it. That's, to me, that's the enjoyment of the process. Yep.
Go
Thank you.
Beavs.